Hey kids, General Jen here, saying happy 4th of July and welcome to another edition of King's Quest, the elementary Sunday school of Hereford Faith and Life Church in Monkton, Maryland. I hope that you are celebrating Independence Day, and more than that, I hope your moms and dads are telling you what that means, because it is a great and important holiday for all Americans to understand and celebrate. And I hope you get some fireworks or see the parade. Our church is going to be in the parade, so make sure to wave. America is known as the land of the free and the home of the brave. And that's what we've been talking about, right? We're talking about how God makes us brave. We're brave. And when we think of the land of the brave, the home of the brave, we often think of soldiers, and soldiers are part of our story this week. So get ready for that. And now, who is ready for an opening option? You're supposed to say, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, have fun. Hey kids, General Jen here, asking, are you ready for an opening option? Sir, yes, sir. Okay. You might like this one this week because it's a little messy. And parents don't like messy, but I know kids do. All right, so what you need for this is wax paper. Now, I know not everybody may have wax paper hanging around. Wax paper, that was easy. But if you don't have wax paper, it's not the end of the world. I think probably plastic wrap might work. You just got to get it kind of smooth as you can. And you need a cup with a very little bit of water in it. And you need straw. And you need permanent marker. And you can have a fat one or a thin one. It is all up to you. What you want to do is, now we have your wax paper, or if you don't have that, plastic wrap. And you're going to draw, you or mom and dad or whoever, I'm going to draw a circle. Okay. Then we are, now I don't know if you guys know how to do this. You know how to do the thing to pick up water with your straw? If you do, we're going to pick up one drop. So this is the tricky part. Not a whole lot of water, one drop. So if you don't know how to do it, here's how. You hold your straw with your two fingers here. You leave your pointer finger free, and you're going to put that over, completely covering the top of the straw here, okay? And then you hold your straw and you put it in the water. Well, you start with it open, okay? Put it in the water, and since we only need a little bit, just barely put it in the water. You can play around with this first, like in the sink or whatever, if you want to try this technique, you haven't used it before. But just dip it in the water, and then you want to put your finger over the top once you have a little water in your straw. Burp. And like magic, here we go, it holds water. So if you put it in further, it holds more water, and if you put it in just a little, it only holds one drop, which is all we need. So we're going to drop this on the line. Or one drop. Oh, I'm going to get one drop. There we go. All right, can you see my one drop of water? I hope you can see. Here, I'm gonna try to. All right, so here's our one drop of water. And now the trick is we're going to try to carefully blow this water drop all the way around this line. So here we go. And you probably, I mean, you can move yourself or you can move the paper. I'm kind of stuck in a fixed position, so I'm going to move the paper. Let me try. Oh, look at him go. All right. So that is your assignment. Make your little drop of water go around the circle. Okay? Then you can pause and have fun with that and meet me back here. Well, in today's Bible story, God promised his people that if they walked around a city, he would make something amazing happen. What's something amazing you'd like to see God do? What could God, he can do anything, right? Nothing is impossible for God. So what's something amazing that you'd like to see God do? Pause and discuss. Well, those are cool things. Something amazing I'd like to see God do is like bring peace, world peace. I know that's that's the one that everybody says, but that's the one I'd like to see the most. But he's not going to, because that's our job. That's what he put us here to do. All right. God's people had to be brave because the people that were inside the city, you imagine this is a big city here. The people in the city weren't their friends. God helps us be brave. We're brave. Just like your breath made the water move, God helps us no matter what brave thing we have to do. Okay? All right, let's find out some more. Oh, welcome back, recruits. I am so glad you're here. Let's start with a song and shine out God's awesome love.
In my wrestling, in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and see. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea.
Well, I can't wait to discover how God helps us be brave. We're brave. And that's our Bible point today. So every time I or someone else says, God helps us be brave, I want you to put your hands on your hips and strike your best superhero pose. We're brave. All right, so let's try it a couple times. God helps us be brave. We're brave. God helps us be brave. We're brave. You also look a little like a soldier, right? We're brave. All right. But we don't have to be brave on our own, you know, because God is always with us, helping us when we're afraid. God will guide us too. Let's sing and celebrate our faithful God.
Guide me, won't you guide me, all the way. Guide me, won't you guide me, all the way. Guide me, oh, thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art mighty. Hold me with thy powerful hand. Bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more. Feed me till I want no more. Guide me, won't you guide me, all the way. Guide me, oh, thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art mighty. Hold me with thy powerful hand. Bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more. Feed me till I want no more. Bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more. Feed me till I want no more. Guide me, won't you guide me, all the way. Guide me, won't you guide me, all the way.
Now it's time to check in with our Bible buddy, the fabulous flying squirrel Rockette. How much do you know about flying squirrels? Well, let's find out with this or that challenge. You'll hear 2 fun facts about flying squirrels, but then it's up to you to decide which one is true, this or that. Okay, here's the question. Do flying squirrels stay warm by burrowing underground or by cuddling with their family members? What do you think? Well, if you think that they burrow underground, what you're supposed to do is curl up in a little ball. Okay? And try to hug your knees and curl up in a ball. But if you think that they stay warm by huddling with their friends, I want you to hug yourself like you're cuddling up, okay? So if you think they burrow underground, I want you to hug your knees and make yourself into a ball. And if you think they cuddle with family members, I want you to hug yourself, okay? All right, is everybody ready? Okay, here it is again. Do flying squirrels stay warm by burrowing in the ground or by cuddling with their family members? What do you think? Let's see. I see some knees being hugged. I see some selves being hugged. What could the answer be? Flying squirrels cuddle with their family members. Wow. Let's find out more.
Hi friends, it's me, Rocket. I'm a flying squirrel. I'm really excited today because later on, I'm going to glide around with my squirrely friends. I must confess, we're a little clumsy when we hang out on the ground. But can we ever soar? We glide gracefully from tree to tree. Whee! We can glide pretty far too. Up to 160 feet. That's about the length of 4 buses in a row. Maybe we should be called gliding squirrels instead of flying squirrels. We don't flap wings like bats do. And we don't have feathers like birds. But we do have special membranes between our front legs and our back legs. These membranes are made out of loose skin and some muscles. And they're covered in fur. These built-in gliders help us catch some air and get us where we need to go. I like exploring on my own, but sometimes I'd rather hang out with others. You know what I mean? When it comes to a flying squirrel nest, we like it jammed-packed full of friends. Family and friends are awesome. The more the merrier, I always say. In the winter, when the cold weather comes and we need to stay warm, we huddle together with even more flying squirrel families. God gives us the friends we need. So cozy. God will give you what you need too, especially His comfort. God's love is like having a big warm blanket to protect you from the cold. When you face trouble, God will never leave you. That's what God told Joshua in the Bible. God gave Joshua a really important job to do. He put him in charge of the Israelites. Joshua led them to the promised land. Wow! Joshua may have wondered whether he was really the right person for such a big job. But God made him a promise. Here is what God told Joshua. We can read it in the Bible book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And guess what? God did what He said He would do. Joshua was brave and courageous. And God helped Joshua and the Israelites move into Jericho. No wall could stop God. It's okay to get a little overwhelmed sometimes, but take heart and have courage. God is with you when you need to be brave. Ask God to give you strength. He won't let you down. There is nothing that will ever get in the way of God's love for everyone. That's great news. Be sure to tell your friends. Uh-oh, it's getting late. I'm gonna glide over and hang with the fam. I'm so glad we've had time to get to know each other. No matter what's happening around you, remember this: God helps us be brave.
The Bible is God's true story of love. Every part of the Bible is there for a reason, showing us God's loving plan for us. Our Bible memory verse is from the book of Joshua 1:9. Let's say the verse together. I'll say a line and then you repeat after me. And if you get stuck, it's always right here, okay? So here we go, and do the actions that I do after it. And this is our last week with Rocket, so you should know it by now. So let's do a great job and send her off with a bang, okay? Here we go. Be strong and courageous. Your turn. Do not be afraid or discouraged. Your turn. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Your turn. Good job. You guys really learned this one, and it's such a great verse. It really is one of those things that you can repeat when you feel a little bit nervous. Maybe, you're going someplace and it's not the greatest thing, and you're a little bit scared, a little bit fearful. For me, that would have been the day we had to climb the rope in gym. Okay. And it felt like even God couldn't help me there. All right, let's say it all together. Ready? Here we go. Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. Great job. No matter what we're facing, God helps us be brave. We're brave. Let's sing about that.
Woke up this morning feeling kinda blue, a little sad, but I know just what to do. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh. I have learned that I can go to Jesus. He lifts me up whenever I need it. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh. When I'm worried, when I'm feeling down, that's when God comes through, turns it all around. Yeah, He gives me joy in every situation, keeps my spirits high, no matter what I'm facing. Oh, 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 oh. I'm feeling better, God made all the difference. He's always here to listen. Oh, 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 oh. He is my source, the one who gives me life. He is my God and He's good all the time. Oh, 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 oh. When I'm worried, when I'm feeling down, that's when God comes through, turns it all around. Yeah, He gives me joy in every situation, keeps my spirits high, no matter what I'm facing. Oh, 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 oh. When I'm worried, when I'm feeling down, that's when God comes through and turns it all around. Yeah, He gives me joy in every situation, keeps my spirits high, no matter what I'm facing.
Okay, recruits. Now it's time to spend a little time just getting to know each other. So, as always, we start with a question, and here it is. Tell about a time that you walked or ran a long way. Pause and discuss. All right, recruits, General Jen here. And before we jump into today's Bible adventure, let's play a quick game. All right, what I need you to do is I need you to make some paper balls, okay? So if you have 1,000 of those little notepads that they send you free in the mail, you can, like we do here, you can just crumple up a page of that. Otherwise, I think probably like half a sheet of paper. So if you don't have that, you can grab paper, tear it in half, wad it into little balls. Now, how many do you need? That's a good question. I would guess that you probably need a little more than twice the number of people who are going to be playing. Okay, so if it's 2 kids, then I would say you probably need maybe like 6. But it wouldn't be bad to have more, but I think 6 would probably do it. So like double the number of kids that you have and then add a few more. Okay, so pause and make your little paper balls and then meet me back here. Okay. Okay, you have your paper balls. Yay. All right, so now this is where, okay, the parents are in charge of the balls and the kids are going to go out into the room. And you're going to need a little bit of space. So no enclosed spaces. Move ottomans, furniture out of the way, or you could do it outside if you want that, you know, or, you know, in some play area or whatever. So what you're going to do is kids are going to scatter around the room and then parents are going to toss out the balls. And the goal is to keep these paper balls in the air. They cannot touch the ground. None of them can touch the ground. So you're going to bat them around or do whatever you can to keep them keep them off the ground, okay? And work together, work apart, dive, whatever, but you're going to keep them from hitting the ground, okay? Oh, and there's one more thing. You have to do it all while balancing on just one foot. Yes, seriously. So everybody stand on one leg, and then the parents are going to toss them out, and you're going to hop around and try to keep the balls in the air. That's why it's important not to have too many, but we also do want it to be a challenge also, you know. All right, so are you ready? Keep the balls up, work together, keep them in the air, all on one foot. Okay? Pause and have fun. So, how did it go? I know my cat over here heard me crumpling up little paper balls and he got all excited to try to play the game too, but he doesn't know how to stand on just one foot. So that didn't work out so well. But how did it go for you? How did it feel to have so much to do and only one foot to stand on? Call out your answers. How did it feel? Frustrating, overwhelming, hard, impossible? Well, what things in your everyday life make you feel that way? That it's overwhelming, too hard, impossible, too much of a challenge, too crazy? Pause and discuss. What things in your everyday life make you feel that way? Well, in today's Bible story, we'll meet someone who may have felt overwhelmed or in over his head. He needed courage and strength from God, and God helped him be brave. God helps us be brave too. We're brave. All right, now it's time to experience the Bible story. All right. The first thing you need to know is that God's people, the Israelites, had been sort of wandering in the wilderness for years, 40 years to be exact. God took care of them, though, and gave them what they needed, but they didn't have a place to settle down and call home. They lived in tents. God had been guiding them with a pillar of fire at night and a cloud of smoke in the morning. And he'd given them a good leader in a guy named Moses. You remember Moses, who challenged the Pharaoh. But eventually, Moses got old and he died. Then God put a man named Joshua in charge. Okay, so now you're going to be Joshua. So everybody stand up. I'll just have a bunch of Joshuas, and you can imagine all the other Israelites, okay? So we have a few tents here, but you have to imagine just thousands and thousands and thousands of tents. And all of those tents have families in it. It's like your neighborhood. If instead of houses, it was tents. And there's kids and grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads and even animals. I mean, they had sheep and goats, okay? So all of these people. And now you're Joshua and you're in charge, okay? So stand up. Okay, Joshua. Now look out. All these men, women, and children are in your care, okay? You've got to lead them. You have to keep them safe. You have to make sure they have enough food. You have to make sure they have enough water. You have to make sure they obey God. And you have to take care of all of the animals and a whole bunch of other things too. So let me ask you, how are you feeling about all that responsibility? How do you feel? Call out your answers. It's kind of like the stuff we just said, right? Overwhelming, impossible, crazy, scary, right? Well, God didn't leave Joshua to face all that alone. Of course not. So listen to this. I'm going to read you from the Bible book of Joshua, and we're in Joshua 1, and I'm going to read you verses 5 through 9. Part of this is going to sound familiar. Okay. Joshua, no one will be able to oppose you as long as you live. I will be with you, just as I was with Moses. I will never leave you. I will never desert you. Be strong and brave. You will lead these people. You will take the land as their very own. It is the land I promised to give their people long ago. Be strong and very brave. Make sure you obey the whole law my servant Moses gave to you. Do not turn away from it to the right or to the left. Then you will have success wherever you go. Never stop reading this book of law. Day and night you must think about what it says. Make sure you do everything written in it. Then things will go well with you, and you will have great success. Here is what I am commanding you to do. Be strong and brave. Do not be afraid. Do not lose hope. I am the Lord your God. I will be with you wherever you go. Wow. Well, how do you think that made Joshua feel? And why? Pause and discuss. Well, God was giving Joshua a tough assignment. And how many times did he tell him he had to be strong and brave? And if somebody tells you have to be strong and brave that many times, then I think that you can figure out that a challenge is coming. But he kept telling him, don't worry, you'll be successful. I'll be with you. How awesome is that? I mean, a lot of times what we're afraid of is we're afraid of it going wrong. We're afraid that it won't work out. We're afraid that God won't be with us, that we will be defeated or some bad thing will happen. But God was telling him, no, I will be with you. Don't worry. You've got this. Just stay in the book of the law. Follow my ways. Do what I tell you to do. Obeying. Tough. All right. Well, God also helped Joshua be brave by sending a special visitor. Okay, so now you, as Joshua, act this out as I read it, okay? So now we're in Joshua 5, chapter 5, verses 13 to 15. Okay, so I want you guys to act this out as I read it. When Joshua was near the town of Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him. The man was holding a sword. He was ready for battle. Joshua went up to him and said, "Are you on our side, or are you on the side of our enemies?" "I am not on either side," he replied. "I have come as the commander of the Lord's army." Then Joshua fell down with his face to the ground. He is worshiping. He asked the man, "What message does my Lord have for me?" The commander of the Lord's army replied, "Take off your sandals. The place where you are standing is on holy ground." So Joshua took them off. Take off those sandals. The commander of the Lord's army reminded Joshua that God would do all the hard work. Joshua wasn't alone. All right, so you're not alone. Well, it's time to get up and go, all you Israelites, all of you Joshuas. We're going to have to mobilize everybody. God told Joshua to lead his people to Jericho, a city that God wanted them to take over. All right, Joshua's, lead all these people, and I'll let you know where to go. All right, so everybody up, and we're going to go and like march around. I'm going to march around this town of Jericho, over to Jericho. Now, for extra fun and excitement, and this is up to you guys, you can get into it as much as you want. You can take some painter's tape or masking tape, and you can find a place in your room and make a big rectangle out of tape on the floor so that we can march up to that or march around it. But I think it would also be fun if you are into building blocks, like sometimes people have those cardboard blocks, those big like cardboard that look like they're bricks. And if you have those and you want to real quick make like a little town or make like a little wall or something, or, you know, if you have like a little Lego tower or something that you could make, or if you wanted to quick make like a little Jenga tower out of building blocks or something like that, because later on some things will come tumbling down. So that might be fun, you know, if you don't want to just completely use your imagination. Okay, so we're marching. And if you want to do that, just pause, and then you can go and once, now that we've arrived here, you can make your town of Jericho and put it in the center of the room. But make sure you have plenty of room to go around it, okay? Okay, now we're here. We're on the outskirts, and we're going to make camp, okay? And if you're going to build it, now's the time, okay? So go ahead and pause. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead. Well, here we are. We're in Jericho. And here's the town. Wow, Jericho. its walls are really tall. Look, there's little people right there. Those are people. And look, this is the hill. And look how tall. Look, there's a little window. Oh my gosh. Its walls are really tall. Look up. You see how tall they are? Oh, wow. And they're super thick. The walls are as thick inside as you are tall. So imagine if you laid down, like that's how thick the walls are. Oh, man. And it's really likely that they've got a fully trained army in there. Okay, Joshua's, we're going to take over this city. So what do you have to work with? Do you have a well-trained army of soldiers? No, the Israelites, they were slaves, and now they've been wandering in the desert for 40 years. So they've got maybe some sheep and goats, and they made a real nice tabernacle, but do they have swords? They definitely don't have guns. They're not even invented yet. No cannons, no tanks, no catapults, probably not even ladders. I mean, it's a desert. Can they make a ladder? I don't know. They got a spear? Don't know. Well, all you Israelite people, how brave do you feel about taking this big fortified city full of soldiers? Not so great, right? You remember the spies that went in the promised land and they came back and they're like, oh, we're just grasshoppers. Yeah, well, compared to that wall, they kind of look like grasshoppers. Well, good news! God helps us be brave. We're brave. So God gave Joshua his marching orders. God said, you've got this. God says, I got your back. You got this. Go ahead. You've already won. Still a really big wall, you know. Okay, so this is Joshua. Now we're in chapter 6. And this is verses 3 to 5. Here's what God says to do. March around the city once with all your fighting men. In fact, do it for 6 days. Have 7 priests get trumpets made out of ram's horns. They must carry them in front of the ark. Remember the Ark of the Covenant that we followed into the Jordan River? On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. Then tell the priests to blow the trumpets as you march. You'll hear them blow a long blast in the trumpets. When you do, tell the whole army to give a loud shout. The wall of the city will fall down. Then the whole army will march up to the city and everyone will go straight in. Well, Joshua, it looks like you've got quite an army out here. So let's get them up and get ready to march, okay? So what did God say? He said, every day we're going to get our army together and we're going to go down and we're going to march around the entire outskirts of the city 1 time per day, right? Okay, so are you ready? And I have to put on now we have to really be soldiers. All right, troops, so let's get ready for battle here. All right. Here we go. Get up and let's start marching. march in place. Now, I'm going to sing you a little God's Army cadence, and I need you to sing along after me, okay? So I'm going to sing a line, and then you repeat it, okay? If you probably have heard these kind of things, okay? God will help us to be brave. God will help us to be brave. We know God's the one who saves. We know God's the one who saves. Don't be worried. Don't be scared. Don't be worried. Don't be scared. God is with us everywhere. God is with us everywhere. Sound off. 1, 2, sound off. 3, 4. Okay. Well, Joshua, it looks like your fighting folks are ready to go. Oh, but here's one more instruction for you. Now this is Joshua 6:10. But Joshua had given an order to the army. He had said, "Don't give a war cry. Don't raise your voices. Don't say a word until the day I tell you to shout. Then shout." So Joshua led his silent army around Jericho. Okay, so now we're going to march around. If you built the tower, if you made the tape square, we're going to march around it one time silently. Ready? Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're going to march around it. Okay, when you get back, you can have a seat. Well, might as well just stand up. Okay, so now we're going to march in place and we just whisper our little song. Okay, you ready? Here we go. God will help us to be brave. We know God's the one who saves. Don't be worried. Don't be scared. God is with us everywhere. Well, they camped for the night. Here we go. We're going to camp for the night, and then we will circle the city 5 more times, having Joshua lead the army around Jericho. Okay, so we're camping, and here we go. We're going to do it again. Ready? Okay, let's sing our song again. God will help us to be brave. We know God's the one who saves. Don't be worried, don't be scared. God is with us everywhere. Okay, camp. Here we go again. All right, well, you guys can keep marching. You can keep going around. We got to do it, let's see, 1, 2, I guess 4 more times, okay? We're going to march around and come and sing our song, okay? So you guys can just pause me and do that on your own, okay? And when you get around after number 6, before the 7th day, finally, it was time for the last day. Joshua led them around 7 times. 7 times. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired. I mean, the real army got to sleep and rest each time, but we've just been marching around and around and around. So let's just go one more time and pretend that this one is the very last 7th time, okay? So here we go. We're going to go marching, all right? Okay, here we go. Going around Jericho, going to the east, going to the south, going to the west, coming around the north. We finish. All right. This time we're going to shout, okay? So we want to be loud. We're going to sing our song. Instead of whispering, we're going to sing it loud, okay? You ready? God will help us to be brave. We know God's the one who saves. Don't be worried, don't be scared. God is with us everywhere. Okay, are you ready? Now we do the big cheer. Yay! What's that? What's happening? It looks like cracks are forming in the wall. The people didn't even touch the walls. God caused them to come crashing down. That must have been really loud. What would it sound like if walls came crashing down? Let's stomp our feet to make it sound like crashing. Okay, and for all of you who went ahead and made a tower or made a wall or have some bricks or things there, yes, this is smashy, smashy time. So make those walls come tumbling down. And the rest of us will make the stomping sound of the crashing and we'll cheer. God told them to destroy the city, and Joshua made sure they obeyed. God's power is amazing. Yay! So if you have tape, we're going to destroy the city. So smashy, smashy. If you have tape, let's just rip it up, okay? Woohoo! All right. When you're done, have a seat and let's discuss, okay? Okay. Now I have a question for you. Think about those big, tall, very thick walls of Jericho and all the well-trained soldiers inside. That was a lot for the Israelites to try to deal with. What are some big, strong, impossible, or even scary things that you are facing? What's something that you're facing? I'll tell you from my life, our life here, some impossible, overwhelming things we're facing is that everything in our house started to break. The water heater went up, the air conditioning broke, our porch was a mess, and we had a lot of things that needed to get fixed that would cost a lot of money, and we couldn't do it ourselves, so we had to find people who knew how to fix it properly and who were available to fix it properly and had the equipment that they needed. Anyway, it's been a thing. So God is with us all the time, but it seemed quite impossible, and it's been going on for more than a month now. So that was a lot. So now, what are some big, strong, impossible seeming, scary things that you're facing? Pause and discuss. Well, let's read God's words to Joshua again. They'll be familiar because it's our Bible memory verse. Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. God helps us be brave. We're brave. The Bible reminds us that God is always with us, and we don't have to face any hard or scary thing alone. All righty. Are you ready to explore more? Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Okay. I order you to go have fun. Hey, kids. Now let's explore more. For this, you'll need your shoes. I don't have my army boots today, so I'll just use these flip-flops. But whatever shoes you normally walk around in is good. And you also need some masking tape or painter's tape. And you need permanent marker, not the real fat kind. Okay. All right, but first, so you can gather that if you need to. But first, we are going to look at our Bible, okay? So God promised Joshua that he'd be with God's people everywhere they went. So call out all the places you go during the week. Just call them out. What are some places that you go or used to go every day? Like school, where? Sports practice, doctor's office, grocery shopping, mall, maybe family, visit your family, stay with a sitter, daycare, something like that. Well, now of those places, which of those can be hard, lonely, scary, or uncomfortable? And why? Pause and discuss. All right. Let's read something from our Bible together. Get your Bible, and we're going to turn to Psalm 23, verse 4. Psalm 23 is one of those parts of the Bible that most, even people who are not really Christians or people who don't go to church much, probably know this one. It starts, "The Lord is my shepherd." A lot of people know this one. Okay, we're going to look at verse 4. So here's Psalm 23, verse 4. "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid. You are with me. Your shepherd's rod and staff comfort me." Now in some versions it says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." Well, hopefully places like we just mentioned that we go to every day, like school or sports field or home, don't feel like the valley of the shadow of death. But they may be places where we feel lonely or worried or sad. So how is it comforting to know that God is with you there? What did it say? "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid. You are with me," meaning God. So how comforting is it to know that God is with you? You call it out. Well, we don't see God in the same way that we see our friends or family, so it's easy to forget that He's right beside us. So let's see if this helps. All right, you can put away your Bibles now. And now you need the masking tape or the painter's tape. For this, you just need 2 pieces that are about 3 inches long. So, not too much. The best thing about painter's tape is you can put it on the table and it won't stick. But you just want to put it lightly on the table, so just enough that you can write on it, but don't put it on paper or anything. It's not going to come off of that. And what we want to write here is, God helps me be brave. Okay? That's what we've been writing on everything, but it's true. Okay, so do a better job than I did on spacing it out. And then we're just going to stick it to the bottom of our shoe. So, you know, wherever you want. And now, God helps us be brave. We're brave. And this week, remember that wherever your feet go, God goes with you. And it doesn't even matter if you're not wearing these particular shoes, because God is with you wherever you go. No matter what shoes you're wearing, no matter what time of the year it is, no matter whether it's a fun thing like parade and fireworks, or a scary thing like parade and fireworks, whatever it is, God is with you, and He will help you be brave, because we're brave. Well, Rocket, our Bible buddy, can help us remember that God helps us be brave. We're brave. All right, let's practice our verse one last time before we say goodbye to Rocket, okay? And we just said it, so again, I know you guys all know this by heart. So let's just go through twice with the motions all together. Don't worry about repeating after me, because I know you've memorized this by now, okay? Again, you know, whatever's out there, whatever's scary, nobody knows what the future is. These are words that can stick with us from childhood all the way through adulthood. Wonderful thing. I mean, Joshua wasn't a kid, he was an adult, and he was leading a lot of people. So, you know, like President of the United States needs to remember this stuff, okay? So here we go. Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. All right, one more time. Here we go. Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. Great job, everybody. High five. Well, God gave Joshua a big, hard, and scary job to do. But God didn't leave him alone to do it. God helped Joshua be brave by promising to be with him every step of the way. And God helps us be brave. We're brave. And you can trust that God goes with you every day. I'd like to read you something about God's Son, our friend Jesus. As you listen, close your eyes and imagine that the ground you're sitting on is holy or special, because God is right here with us. Listen as I read about Jesus. God helps us be brave. We're brave, and promises to go with us. Has anyone ever dared you to do something brave? Maybe try a watch this skateboard move, or attempt a triple backflip off a trampoline, or maybe poke a wasp's nest to see what would happen? Well, here's something you should know. That is not being brave. It's being silly. When you go up to a new kid and introduce yourself, that's brave. When you do the right thing when everyone's watching, that's brave. When you do the right thing when nobody's looking, that's brave too. You should also know this. When you're being truly brave, you are not alone. Jesus is with you. When you stand up straight, take a deep breath, and do that thing that you know is the right thing, but also the hard thing, Jesus promises to go with you. You are not alone. All right, you can open your eyes. Now, tell about a time that you did something silly, thinking it was being brave. What did you learn from that experience? Pause and discuss. And here's something you can try at home. Head outside or stand next to a lamp so you can see your shadow. Your shadow is with you even when you can't see it. Tell someone how that's like having Jesus go with you. It's like your shadow. He's with you wherever you go, right? Does what you do. Only he leads you to make good decisions, and your shadow might be a little tricky sometimes. All right, now it's time for our joys and concerns, okay? Our prayers and praises, joys and concerns, when we're going to thank God for all the wonderful things in our lives and tell him how grateful we are, and then present any of those overwhelming, scary, difficult, tough things, okay? And ask him for help. He wants to give it. He just wants us to ask for it, right? He already knows the solution to all the problems. He already knows how he's going to fix, find the solutions and bring about the resolution to all of the things. He just wants us to ask. He really just wants us to ask him for help, because he loves that. He's like a dad. Moms and dads usually can see their kids struggling, and they let them try to figure it out themselves, but they really, really want you to say, Mom, can you please help me with this? We love that. That's what we live for. God is the same way. All right, so here we go. Father God, thank you so much for all the many blessings in our lives. And we'll start with a blessing of liberty. How wonderful it is to live in a free country that is under the rule of law, where, people can find ways to live together in peace and to enjoy the best things in life and to have everybody be taken care of. We know we're not a perfect country, but with your help, Lord, we want to make it as perfect as it possibly could be. Nothing will be perfect until we get to heaven, but we want this America to be closest to heaven on earth as is possible. So help us to be good citizens of this country, good citizens of our state and our town and our counties, and help us to do the good, right things that, even though sometimes it's hard to do, we know you go with us and you can help us do those things. And thank you for so much that we already have: family, friends, homes, food, holidays to celebrate. Thank you for all of the ways that you take care of us and look after us and provide for us, Lord. All the things that we don't even realize that you do for us. But Lord, we know that also there's a lot of things that aren't right in the world. There's way too much violence down in our cities, and we know that the only answer to that is you, Lord. And this COVID thing is still going on. And again, even though we have vaccinations and things, we know you can resolve this, Lord. So we ask for you to come and do that. And for everything else in the world, we ask you to be with our leaders, our presidents, all the kings and queens in the world, prime ministers. Help them to work together to make a better world, to end wars, to bring soldiers home safe. And for all of those soldiers in all of the countries, be with them, Lord. Protect them, watch over them, and help us humans to find ways to make war a thing of the past. All right, now we have some individual concerns. If you could help us here at the Jerome house to fix all of the things in the house that need to be fixed and not have anything else break. We really would appreciate a little break from the breaks, Lord. And here's the things that our little friends want to pray for. Your turn. And again, Lord, we put all of these joys and concerns all in your hands, Lord, because we know that you have the whole world in your hands and you can take care of it all. So we ask these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus. And everybody says, Amen. All right, recruits, you are relieved. You can go and enjoy your holiday celebrations. Come out to the church, bring a picnic basket, enjoy the parade, enjoy the fireworks, enjoy spending time with your family. If you're not around, enjoy, your celebration wherever you are. And I will see you same time, same place next week.